Hello and welcome. In the next few minutes, I am going to provide you with an overview of Understanding by Design, or UBD. We will also talk about UbD Stage 2 and then go in depth into what is included in Stage 2 of the UbD template. UBD is a method of course design that focuses on our ultimate goal of instruction, the ability of the learner to take what they have learned and apply it to new situations that they have not encountered yet. UBD works backward from this ultimate goal of transfer to assist us in creating a course that tightly focuses the course instruction, activities, and evaluations on the end goal. This framework was designed with industry-recognized competencies and standards in mind to ensure that training is relevant to the needs of the industry. UBD is comprised of 3 stages. Stage 1, identify desired results. Stage 2, determine acceptable evidence. And Stage 3, plan learning experiences. Each stage builds on the next, but all focus back to the industry standards and competencies, our ultimate goal of transfer, and the previous stage. Stage 1 ties our essential questions, understandings, knowledge, skills, and transfer to industry standards and competencies. Stage 2 ties our performance task and other evidence of learning to the Stage 1 items of essential questions, understandings, knowledge, skills, and transfer. In Stage 2, we also determine our rubric for assessing one of the performance tasks and how we will evaluate the other evidence of learning. We will cover Stage 3 in a few weeks. For right now, let's go more in depth into Stage 2 of the UbD template. The first section in the Stage 2 template is the performance tasks. In this section, we will identify the tasks that students must complete to demonstrate that they can transfer what they have learned through the instruction or training into new or different situations. The tasks that we create in this section should force the learner to take their understanding beyond simply recalling and regurgitating what they have previously learned. These tasks should require students to take their learning and adapt it into new and unique situations. The learner should be able to complete these tasks independently of the instructor. In the desired results column, we will identify all transfer goals and all meaning goals from Stage 1. We can identify them by an abbreviation of the section followed by the corresponding number of the goal. For instance, if we were listing the meaning goal of understanding number 2, we could abbreviate it as U2. In this section, we do not need a separate line for each of the individual goals. Rather, they can be grouped by topic. Our performance task can encompass multiple goals as long as each goal is addressed by our performance task activity. The performance task column is where we list how our learners will demonstrate what they have learned and their ability to transfer their learning into new situations. These tasks can most easily be framed using the GRASPS method. This framework breaks the task down into the goal of the task, the role of the learner, the audience that the task is intended for, the situation or context that the task is occurring in, the product or performance and purpose of the task, and the standards or evaluative criteria through which the task will be compared to. As we are creating these tasks, we need to make sure that we are including the goals from the desired results column. In the evaluative criteria column, we list what is most important for indicating that the learner has accomplished the desired results. The evaluative criteria for the performance tasks may consider areas like content, quality, impact, and process of the performance task. The next section of the Stage 2 template is Other Evidence. In this section, we identify the other evidence, like concepts, terms, and definitions that students must have mastery of in order to be able to complete the performance task. The other evidence is the foundation that must be laid before the learner can fully achieve learning transfer in the performance task. In the desired results column, we will identify all of the meaning goals, all of the skill and transfer goals, and all of the knowledge and skills goals from Stage 1. We can identify them by an abbreviation of the section, followed by the corresponding number of the goal, just like we did in the performance tasks section. If we were listing knowledge goal number 3, we could just abbreviate it as K3. Again, we do not need a separate line for each of the individual goals. Rather, they can be grouped by topic. Our other evidence tasks can encompass multiple goals as long as each goal is addressed by our other evidence activity. In the other evidence column, we will list how learners will demonstrate their mastery of the goals listed in the desired results column to the left. Tasks and evidence do not need to be as elaborate as what will be completed for the performance task, because these are the building blocks that are going to give the learners the foundational knowledge that they need to complete the performance tasks. So we can list evidence like tests, quizzes, or writing prompts in this column, but the evidence that we are asking the students to provide needs to reflect their achievement of the desired results that we have listed in the column on the left. Each entry in the other evidence column can encompass multiple desired results, as we have discussed earlier. In the other evidence evaluative criteria column, we list the criteria that will assess whether or not the learner has attained the desired results through the other evidence activities. Is there a set of scores that the learner should obtain on the quiz or exam to be able to move forward? How and when will the learners receive feedback? Are there specific items that we're looking for in a response to a writing prompt? We need to list whatever it is that we are looking for that shows that the learner has mastered those goals from the desired results column through the other evidence activity in this column. The final section of the Stage 2 template is the grading rubric. In this section, we choose one of our performance tasks and create a grading rubric with criteria. The goal of the rubric is twofold. It assesses the learner, but it also provides meaningful feedback to the learner on their performance in that performance task to help them be able to transfer their learning into new and unique situations. The grading rubric is our critical assessment. This is where our students will show if they can transfer what they have learned into new situations. So we will list which performance task we would like students to complete to show this transfer of learning. We will then create a rubric assessing the performance task that we have identified. In the criterion column, we list specifically what we are looking for. These criteria are taken from the criterion column in the performance task section. In the columns to the right of the criterion, we define what we are looking for to determine the level at which the criterion has been met. This template uses the ratings of exemplary, sufficient, needs revision, and no evidence to describe our learners' performance on the task. In each of these areas, we want to list several indicators that we are specifically looking for that would constitute the rating. So as we move from exemplary to no evidence, our descriptors provided for each ranking should shift as well from what would be considered expert level understanding and transfer to very basic or no understanding and transfer of the topic at hand. As we move down through the rankings, we should also consider adding some common misunderstandings to the criteria, because if students don't have a good grasp on the material, they may also be demonstrating some of those misunderstandings as well as their understandings. The rubric should also contain a criterion that measures the learner's level of independence in completing the performance task. Using the rankings provided by the template, we could equate complete independence, in which the student does the performance task with no assistance from the instructor, to exemplary, and complete dependence on the instructor to be no evidence. Today we have covered Stage 2 of the UbD template. This has included performance tasks, other evidence, and grading rubrics. Stay tuned for Stage 3 of the UbD template, developing the learning plan. Thank you for listening.